Formula One looks like the world's most intense battleground. 10 teams, 20 drivers, and hundreds of millions of fans watching as billion-dollar machines chase glory. But peel back the carbon fiber and the whole thing looks less like a sport and more like an invitation-only business meeting on wheels. The truth is, F1 isn't built on open competition. It's built on controlled exclusivity. Every team on the grid has to buy a seat at the table, and those already inside aren't eager to share the meal. When Andretti tried to enter, every existing team suddenly discovered a shared passion for protecting the value of the sport. Translation: we don't want to split the money. It's not that Andretti wasn't good enough. It's that he wasn't invited. In F1, you don't earn entry by being fast. You earn it by being rich, politically connected, or both. The FIA governs, but the teams rule. And the moment you threaten their comfort, they close ranks like a cartel in tailored paddock gear. It's a game where competition is the marketing, not the mission, and like any cartel, it thrives by keeping the outsiders exactly where they belong, on the outside. To understand the F1 cartel, you have to follow the money, or rather watch where it stops. The system is rigged to make sure the same few teams stay untouchably wealthy while the rest fight over crumbs. Ferrari gets a heritage bonus of tens of millions every year, just for being Ferrari. Red Bull and Mercedes get massive performance payouts, while smaller teams like Williams or Haas survive on pocket change and brand nostalgia. It's like showing up to a Formula One race with a tricycle and being told, "Don't worry, you'll get there eventually." But they won't. Not under this system. The revenue split ensures that the rich teams get richer, even when they don't win, while the poor teams are trapped in eternal mediocrity. The so-called budget cap was sold as a solution, a way to make F1 fair again. But the loopholes are big enough to drive a DRS wing through. Teams find creative ways to funnel resources, hiding R&D behind partnerships, or spending off the books through marketing departments. The cap might limit spending, but it doesn't limit influence. And influence is where the real money lies. When you control the purse strings, you control the sport. It's not corruption, it's just business. Very, very expensive business. F1 sells the idea that talent always rises to the top, that the best drivers will always find a way, but that's like saying anyone can become an astronaut if they just dream hard enough. The real gatekeeper isn't the FIA, it's the price of admission. To reach Formula One, a driver must spend millions climbing through junior series, and even then, only a handful make it. Paid drivers like Lance Stroll and Nikita Mazepin didn't just buy a seat, they bought the ladder too, and even for genuine talents like Lando Norris or Charles Leclerc, massive financial backing played a crucial role. Without funding, you don't race. Without racing, you don't score super license points. And without points, you don't even qualify for F1. The FIA's licensing system gives the illusion of fairness while conveniently reinforcing the pay-to-play structure. It's not about speed, it's about sustainability of your wallet. For every Verstappen who rockets up the ranks, there's a dozen world-class drivers who vanish into endurance or GT racing because they couldn't afford one more season in F2. Formula One has mastered the art of filtering out the poor long before talent becomes a factor. The irony: the pinnacle of motorsport is the only sport where being fast isn't enough to go fast. Behind the garage doors, F1's elite play a long, silent Cold War. Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari may battle on track, but off-track they protect the empire. Rule changes are never random. They're strategic weapons. When Mercedes dominated the turbo-hybrid era, Red Bull lobbied the FIA to shake up the aero rules. When Red Bull took over, Mercedes suddenly discovered moral concerns about flexible floors and cost cap breaches. It's a never-ending cycle of political warfare disguised as technical regulation. But here's the secret: these battles don't weaken the cartel, they strengthen it, because whether Mercedes wins or Red Bull wins, the money still circulates between the same power players. The FIA plays referee, but the rulebook is a living document that bends to influence. And smaller teams, their collateral damage, often forced to spend millions adapting to changes that were never designed for them in the first place. Haas doesn't stand a chance when the regulations shift faster than their budget meetings. It's not evolution, it's manipulation in the name of competition. The cartel isn't trying to stop progress, they just want to make sure they're the ones selling the upgrades. If you ever wondered why new teams struggle to join F1, look no further than the franchise model. Each team isn't just a competitor, it's a billion-dollar franchise with exclusive rights, intellectual property, and guaranteed revenue. The Concord Agreement is the secret contract that binds them all, a mix of performance bonuses, political immunity, and shared profits that make the system nearly untouchable. The infamous $200 million anti-dilution fee to enter the sport isn't about protecting competition, it's about protecting share value. It ensures no new team can join unless they bring money that directly compensates the old guard. It's not a grid, it's a gated community. Liberty Media's modern F1 is less a championship and more a cinematic universe with recurring characters. Red Bull the rebel, Mercedes the perfectionist, Ferrari the romantic underdog. The sport sells drama, not democracy. Even the races are part of the show's geography. Miami, Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, markets that sell luxury, not legacy. The franchises have evolved from racing teams into global brands. And as long as the money flows, the results don't even have to change that much. The only thing more valuable than winning in F1 is staying in it. Drivers are the heroes of the sport, but also its most tightly controlled employees. Every movement, every interview, every tweet is scripted by Team PR. They're global icons, but also brand assets, wrapped in fireproof logos from neck to heel. Personal sponsors? Only if they don't clash with team sponsors' freedom of speech. Only if it aligns with the broadcast rights deal. The higher they rise, the smaller their freedom becomes. Even the most rebellious ones, Hamilton with activism, Verstappen with independence, still operate within boundaries set by corporate contracts. It's easy to think the drivers control their destiny, but the truth is, their careers are meticulously managed by entities that see them as performance-based investments. The lower-tier drivers face even harsher realities. Many barely break even after paying managers, trainers, travel, and simulator time. Some rely on family funding well into their F1 years just to sustain their seats. The driver market isn't a meritocracy, it's a financial ecosystem. And the cruel irony, the very athletes risking their lives are often the ones with the least power in the system. They might drive the cars, but the cartel drives everything else. When Liberty Media bought F1, it promised a revolution, and in many ways it delivered. Global expansion, Netflix stardom, social media, new fans. But while the sport's presentation changed, its foundation didn't move an inch. Liberty just repackaged the old cartel for the streaming age. The Drive to Survive generation was supposed to democratize F1. Instead, it amplified the same old hierarchy with better lighting. The sport is now a hybrid between Wall Street and Hollywood. Every venue, every calendar decision, every partnership is dictated by leverage. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Las Vegas, not because of racing heritage, but because of the zeros on the check. Meanwhile, classic tracks like Spa and Monza fight to stay alive, begging for contract renewals. Liberty Media's genius is turning politics into entertainment. Christian Horner and Toto Wolff aren't just team bosses anymore. They're characters in a serialized narrative. Every fight, every radio message, every controversy becomes part of a content pipeline. But don't confuse accessibility with equality. The cartel still runs the engine. Liberty just sells the story, and that's the real secret. You don't need to fix the system when you can make people love watching it. Formula One is a spectacle built on precision, power, and control. But behind that perfection lies one of the most sophisticated cartels in modern sport. Every team, driver and official is part of a structure that rewards stability and punishes disruption. The FIA enforces the rules, but the real enforcement happens in boardrooms, where contracts, revenue and politics shape the track long before the lights go out. It's a business empire that has perfected the illusion of change. The same teams dominate, the same money circulates, and the same barriers keep the outsiders away. But maybe that's why it's so magnetic. The cartel isn't a flaw, it's the formula. Without it, F1 might lose the very tension that makes it beautiful. The sport thrives on control because chaos is expensive and predictability is profitable. And yet, we keep watching, cheering and believing, because even when you know the game is rigged, there's something irresistible about watching how perfectly they play it. Formula One isn't just a cartel, it's the most elegant one ever engineered. The engines may scream, but the power moves in silence.